Hello, folks. Welcome to the Solar Fit Renewable Energy Show. Bill Gallagher back with you with my wing woman,
Gloria Edson.
We're coming to you from our studio in Daytona Beach, Florida, one of the most beautiful places in the world, especially this time of year, as long as you have plenty of deodorant, because it's hot out there.
It's really hot out there.
But the beach is beautiful. The waves are low today. Very little wind. Do you want to give a weather report?
Oh, well, I think you already did. It's beautiful out there. The weather is, right now, it's nice and clear. We're supposed to have very, very, very hot weather later today, up in the 90s, almost 100 degrees. And, of course, the humidity is going to be in 3 digits. So that's definitely, I don't know if we're going to get some rain later. It'd be nice if we could. It sure cools everything down once it rains.
For sure, for sure. I want to give a shout-out to our friends once more at Daytona Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram for their support through the years. And, of course, they have solar power on their facility, which is awesome. Love to see that. So many great friends and commercial customers, and way, way, way more residential. I think we have close to 27,000 now, Gloria.
Somewhere in that neighborhood, yeah, at least.
You stopped counting at about 20, didn't you?
Yes, I did. A few years back.
Okay, and a real big shout out to our buddy, Mr. Daniel Dye, driving full time in a NASCAR Xfinity Series. And this week, Indianapolis, the world's most famous racetrack, the Brickyard. They're up there. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the trip this week, but we're cheering them on. The races this afternoon. Please tune in to CW and watch it and cheer him on. He's carrying the Solar Fit colors and the Race to Stop Suicide across America. So, all right, so we just went through the holiday, the Independence Day, 4th of July. Always a great day. A little bit of a curveball we saw come through Congress this last few weeks. Really a surprise. Congress has decided that they would stop supporting renewable energy and double down on fossil fuels, coal, gas, oil, nuclear, and everything like that, and that's a decision they made. So kind of confusing to me, because right now we need every electron we can get, and we've always been a proponent of all sources of energy, not just renewable, although we love renewable because there's no expense. The sun comes up in the morning, shines, creates electricity for free. How does it get better than that? But not being in charge of the political nature, that's what we're working with now. We do have some good news, and that's a little bit of a runway. The support will continue through the end of this year, and then at that point, the residential solar tax credit, 30%, will no longer exist, at least for the time being. So if you're thinking about maybe saving some money on your utility bills, it might be a good time to give us a call, 386-445-7606. And get your complimentary analysis to find out if solar will work for you. And if so, can you capture the 30% before it's gone, which typically for an average electric bill of, say, $250, that would mean a $9,000 savings to our customers. So the phones have been very, very busy in the last few days since this bill was passed, and we anticipate a huge spike going into the new year, everyone trying to get on board in this. So we're almost into the month of August, so please don't delay if you have an interest in solar power or battery storage. Same thing, battery storage incentives go away the first of the year as well. So if you snooze, you lose. Jump on board with us and give us a call. We'll be happy to help you. Again, 386-445-7606. And we service, if you're listening in, we service 7 counties, all the way from Daytona Beach all the way up to Jacksonville. So if you're on the East Coast, we're your folks, Solar Fit. We're in our 50th year, 50 year. Hard to believe, Gloria. You've been with us 30.
Yes, I have.
Can you believe that, 30 years?
No, I can't.
God, you don't even look 30. I knew you'd like that one.
Thank you.
For sure. Anyway, we got some of that interesting news out of the way, and so now let's go on to some really cool stuff that's going on. I'll tell you what's really exploded, Gloria, is battery technology. I mean, the solar part of it is just so common sense and so intuitive. You know, the choice is to continue to rent electricity from our friends at the utility company, which is all right, nothing wrong with that. Or maybe make the decision to become energy independent and make your own energy on your roof. So we've seen so many people say, look, you know what, tired of these high prices, they're going up. Some people ask me, why do the prices of electricity keep going up? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, and it's not really it's not the utility company's fault. They're hardening the grid, meaning they're putting up sturdy poles instead of the wooden poles. You see concrete poles going up. There's cost recovery from storm damage, which we know here we have hurricanes, and it takes a little bit to get them squared away. So there are some legitimate reasons why the utilities have to increase the prices. So definitely not blaming them, but one of the local utilities has asked for a $9 billion rate increase, and it looks like that's going to happen in the very near future. So I guess the question comes in, how do we handle that, Gloria? If your electric bill was $250 now, and 6 months from now it was $325, where are you going to come up with that additional $75? Just a question.
That's a very good question. Well, can I have a raise?
Okay, now I knew you'd say that. So that very seldom works, but in your case, no. I mean, yes. But it really is interesting when you think about it, because we all go through our lives and we have the human nature of procrastination. It really is the craziest thing in the world. We don't really think about doing anything until it's right on us, and we gotta act now, right? So what we're suggesting is you sit in a quiet place and think a little bit about, do I really want to wait until the storm comes to protect my house against power down? And we've been so lucky through the years, but we've been so unlucky in the last few years to have these things hit us right on the noggin. That's true.
They have. They've definitely come through here and ruffled some feathers.
Well, and depending where you live, I mean, an area just south of us, down by Ponce Inlet and South Daytona, really got hit hard.
They did.
Palm Coast Flagler really got hit hard, and I mean, some you still see the blue tarps on roofs, and you see houses that had a foot of water in their garages and stuff like this, and that's not something that we ever want to see again. But we don't really have any control over that. It's kind of like politics.
That's true.
So I never thought about that. The relation between weather and politics, absolutely no control.
Yep.
But the idea is to be prepared for whatever happens, okay? Because the tides do change for sure. The hurricane comes, the storm goes away, the sun comes out. Now we're powering our home with solar and storage, all good.
It is good. And, going back to the hardening of the grid, I think right now our grid is, because we've had so many people move into our area and the construction has gone crazy in a lot of areas, that the utilities are struggling just to keep up. That's huge. And I think one of my concerns is when there is a storm, because they're having such difficulty trying to make those things happen faster, that we could be out for much longer than a week or so, just because the grid is not as up to date as it should be.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that goes to your point of making sure that we have a stable grid. But the thing that's curious to me is last year, more renewable energy was added to the grid than any other type of energy source. And now that they've decided to curtail support for renewable energy, it's hard for me to grasp where the additional energy is going to come from, because now we're forced with rapidly building plants, fossil fuel plants, reenacting the coal plants, doing nuclear. This is going to take some time. I'm just wondering where the energy is going to come from in the meantime if we don't have some support for renewable. The fact is that we've got AI, we've got data centers, we've got all this stuff coming online that's going to create a tremendous gap in the energy that we have right now. So, my hope is that and sooner than later that we can kind of rethink the process and support all types of energies, or perhaps just take all the support away from all the energies and let the most effective, inexpensive energy source reign. And I really truly believe in my heart that renewable energy will win that. Not to say we want to do with anything, we don't. We want there to be an equal playing field and everybody get the support they need, because it's going to affect our wallets big time.
Well, you had a good point about AI. That is going to create a huge demand for energy, and with that reducing our solar portion of it in the energy field, where is it going to come from? It's going to be quite challenging, especially over the next few years, because they don't have the facilities to overcome that difference.
Well, I think what you're going to see on the residential side is not so much of a slowdown, even though the support won't be there, because as these utility prices continue to increase, there's going to be a pain point where at some point in the future, solar will be a necessity. Instead of just, this is a great home improvement and it's great ROI, it's going to be a necessity, because if we don't take steps to protect our own family's pocketbook, right, because we don't have any control about these rates going up, we're going to have an issue. And I think, if these rate increases go through and we start seeing bills rocket up there, people are going to say, we got to make a change. So I don't think we're going to see a tremendous slowdown in the residential solar sector, because more of necessity rather than just, early adopters.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
So the commercial side, still we've got a little bit of a ramp down. We've got another 2 years, but it is going to be ramping down. And the folks out there that have commercial businesses, whether it's a small dentist's office, doctor's office, a warehouse space, furniture stores, you name it, we've done them all. If you're out there and you have one of these facilities, it'd be a great time to think about it, because we still have the 30% tax credit. We still have accelerated depreciation. We also now, and we'll talk about a little bit about this in the next session, but we have a tremendous solar plus roof program, which has helped so many people. It's amazing. We'll talk about the economics of that shortly. But on the commercial end, perhaps you're listening in on our favorite radio station, WNZF, our friends up at Flagler Broadcasting. If you're listening in and you have a commercial business, and if you're just curious, you don't have to invest a dime, but if you're just curious, give us a call. We offer complimentary energy analysis. You'd be surprised. We'll tell you where you're spending your money. We'll also talk about demand. A lot of people don't understand what demand is, but in simple terms, for commercial, it's when your energy usage spikes at a certain point in time, and the utilities lock in that rate for the month. We also have a way through storage to reduce that demand, take away your kilowatt usage. And from a commercial standpoint, it's all about overhead, right? So in the end, the reason that people end up having businesses is to make a profit, right? To be able to support their family and support. In our case, we're huge about supporting our employees.
Mm-hmm.
We're huge about that. We want them to have the lifestyle that they dreamed of and do it within our company. And it all comes down to overhead. How low can we keep our overhead so we can make sure we can pay the highest rate to our employees? That's a huge thing. So if we can reduce our overhead, which will increase our profit, it'll allow us to give more to our favorite charities, such as the Race to Stop Suicide and veterans organizations and things like that. That's what we want to do. So if you're out there and you have a business and you're just curious, like again, you don't have to invest a penny, but if you're curious enough to pick up the phone and give us a call, 386-445-7606, any of the areas that we service, we'll pop on out there, we'll take a look at everything, and when we give you this report, you're probably going to be a little bit shocked and say, I should have done this 5 years ago. I would have owned the system, and now I don't have an electric bill. What do you think of that, Gloria?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. So is that, you had mentioned ramping, that will be ramping down over the next 2 years. Does that mean that the 30% is all ramping down over the next 30 years? Okay.
Yeah. So it'll scale down from 30% to a different figure to a different figure, and then be subside. But we know this. It's all based really on the political nature of what's going on. We could see this change. But anticipating that it'll never change, it still makes economic sense to look into this, because if we don't, we're going to be facing some interesting economic times. Anyway, gosh, Gloria, can you believe we're all up to a break here? All right, folks, if you stay with us, we come back. We're going to talk about solar plus roofing. If you've got a roof right now that needs to be repaired, or if your insurance company is saying, hey, buddy, hey, gal, time to replace the roof, we're going to show you how you can do this economically. Right back with you.
Hi folks, Bill Gallagher with SolarFit here. Have you ever thought about utilizing solar power for your home or business? Well, there's never been a better time to plug into the sun and stop renting electricity. How would you like to let your roof start paying you each month? Give us a call at 445-7606. That's 445-7606. Or visit us at solarfit.com and set yourself free.
SolarFit your life and set yourself free with the sun's free energy.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to the SolarFit Renewable Energy Show. Bill Gallagher with my sidekick,
Gloria Edson.
Well, I hope you caught the first part. There was a lot of information there. I felt like I couldn't stop talking. Anyway, I don't want this to be a commercial. I want it to be educational, informative, and a little bit of fun. We might throw a little bit of humor in there.
That's for sure.
Yes.
You got it.
Gloria is just sitting across from me in our studio right now, and she has a pendant on, and it looks like an eyeball, and this thing's staring directly at me, and I'm starting to go a little bit googly-eyed. What's going on there, Gloria?
I'm trying to.
What is it? Oh, you're getting very, very dizzy. Don't do that. Okay. Oh, geez, we have a lot of fun. Anyway, I wanted to tell you a little bit about our Solar Plus Roof program. This is crazy, crazy cool. So if say you need a new roof, okay, and let's just suppose for the heck of it that you've got money that's making a great amount of interest in the bank, and you don't want to touch that money, right? And so you decide you want to finance your roof, or maybe you just don't have the money to pay for it, and you need to finance your roof. Well, the way it works is that the amount of the term, let me say this, the term is relatively short that you can finance, say, just a roof, which means that the payment is very high. Well, we just got through talking about disposable income with what's happening with the increase in rates. So how are we going to afford the amount of money it costs to buy a new roof? So what we've done is we designed a program that actually combines a new roof with solar. And we have a lender called Climate First Bank, good friends of ours. They have really taken over the solar financing market, and they now allow us to include roofs. So the term is longer, the interest is less, and when you combine the roof with the solar and you take away the savings from the utility that you don't have to pay, it is a fraction of what you would normally pay. So we're able to help a lot of people that maybe from an economic standpoint are not prepared to put the new roof on, but if they own their home and they have a mortgage on their home and the insurance company says change the roof or we'll cancel your policy, you really don't have any choice. So we put together a program designed to help these folks, and I tell you, it's a lot of fun. When we see the look on the face of one of our customers, when we show them the payment for the solar and the roof, it's like sunshine. It's like a great big grin, just like Gloria's doing now with that pendant swinging back and forth. Great big grin. In fact, I've got an appointment today with a lady, and she's contemplating the roof, and boy, it's just a little bit more than she wants to spend, and so we put a package together, and she's going to go, wow, this is awesome. What do you think of that, Gloria?
I think it's absolutely wonderful because over time, I mean, you're right, it's always taken a lot of money to put a brand new roof up, and then you have to really budget for it, or if you don't have the money, it can be really tight during that time trying to pay that off. I think most of those loans are based very similar on a car loan, so your payments are really high for the first 6 years typically, and then if you can get it paid off, that's great. But this is really nice because now you're including the solar, and the payment is less than that. It's shocking.
Yeah, I think for this one application we're looking at, if she purchased the roof alone, I think the payment was like $420 a month. If she purchases the roof with solar, it's like $140. So it's like a third of the amount. And of course, it's simple interest, no prepayment. There's no lien on the house. These are all kind of signature notes and stuff. So it's like, yeah, we love working with our partners at Climate First because together we can help so many people.
So do you have to have a certain credit?
Well, you have to have reasonable credit. Obviously, if they're going to lend, banks have to have some security. But if they're not attaching it to your house, in other words, they're not putting a mortgage on your house, and you have to have reasonable credit, not crazy high, but just pay your bills and stuff like most of us do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a pretty seamless process. So we're pretty excited about that, and we're actually rolling out an entire program in Palm Coast within the next 2 weeks. You'll probably see some information coming through on that. So pick up the phone and call. Again, it doesn't cost a penny to learn about it. But if you're put in a position where you have to have a new roof, or maybe you bought a house and maybe the roof is 12, 14, 15 years old, and 2 or 3 years down the road you're going to have to place the roof, man, it may not be worth waiting, because if you can do the solar and the roof and get the 30% tax credit on the solar, the economics are like really, really good.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
I think I want mine done again.
What? You just had yours done. But imagine having a brand new roof.
Yeah.
Okay, and not having an electric bill.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Oh, so you talk about this a lot, and it just really impresses me to hear you talk about why you did solar, and the choices that you made and why you made it. Regarding your retirement, which you keep threatening me with. Talk about that.
Well, I've been here long enough to have experienced an awful lot with numerous customers, because I go out and meet with customers. And obviously 30 years ago, I was younger, but my goal was to being in homes every day and seeing folks struggle with their finances once they've retired. It's scary, and with the rising costs of food and everything is going up, electric, where are you going to find, as you said, where are you going to find that extra money if you don't budget for it? And to me, it was a no-brainer. First of all, if you want, you own things first. You get it paid for, get it paid and off your plate. Then you own it, and that releases that extra money that you can have during your retirement to at least support what you need, or possibly set it aside for trips or anything. It's just it's a wonderful way to be able to get through your retirement years.
Yeah, and it really comes down to with the amount of income we have, especially in retirement, where do we spend that? Do we spend it on groceries?
Medicines?
Do we spend it on medicine? Do we spend it on, well, if we don't have those bills to pay, we could spend it on the kids or grandchildren's education. We could take that trip we always wanted to take.
Yep.
We could do a lot of things that would enhance the quality of our life.
Correct.
But it kind of like we're training our children when they're growing up to save a portion of their income so that later they have it. It's kind of the same way. If you're, say you're 30 or 40 years old right now, I know you think you're going to live forever, but if you're planning for retirement, there's nothing greater, in my opinion, than having a solar savings account. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, I've had mine since 2006. It was paid for as quick as possible. And all that extra money that I was saving went right to paying off my mortgage on my home. And then the additional went to my car. So I own my energy, I own my house, and I own my car. So those are the three big ticket items that to me were of value over time. And now I've got that extra income that which I feel is necessary because I'm not getting any younger. I'm, medications, and hopefully I can stay healthy enough to where I don't have any major issues. But those are things that I'm setting aside money for.
Yeah, the other thing neat is with the battery storage that you have in your home, that you can stay in your home if the weather gets bad, instead of trying to get on the interstate and finding out that everyone else is on the interstate.
That's
or
true.
Trying to find a motel and finding out there are no motels. I'll tell you,
Been there, done that.
If you want to be, if people go, wow, that solar storage, I don't know. I don't know. Do I really need to pay that? Go through it one time on 95 stopped when you have to go to the restroom, and put a price tag on that, right?
Or you're running out of fuel. That's a nightmare.
Well, who was the other day? One of our customers was talking about how much money they had. They had a refrigerator and a freezer full of food, and they lost it all, hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Yep.
I mean, it's just crazy. The price of food right now, holy mackerel.
Yeah. very expensive. So it does, it certainly saves, and it gives you that ultimate peace of mind, too. To me, that was huge. Every day I'd get up, it transfers over automatically. It's quiet as a mouse. You never hear it. It's just, you don't have to worry about a big machine making noise in the back and spewing out lots of toxins. It's a blessing, really, in disguise. I just love mine. I love it.
Well, everyone that talks to Gloria ends up having one. So if you don't want solar or storage, do not call Gloria, because she can tell you so much about it after all this experience. Well, we're gonna have a wonderful time servicing our customers. We've got Mr. Bob Harrington up there in Palm Coast that's helping us out. He's a great asset, good guy. He lives right there in Palm Coast, which is nice. We got Mark down in South Florida, and of course Gloria. And this afternoon we're actually going to a tribute to for one of our good friends that recently passed away, Mr. Jordan Farrell. We're going to go to a tribute with him at Pictona. Kind of a solemn affair, but also a celebration of his life. What a great fellow, and,
yep,
and
he
one of
was.
our teammates. And just the message is to keep your friends close and your family, hug them, and enjoy every day that you have with them. But from a renewable energy standpoint, we're here for you if you have an interest. Our recommendation is don't wait too long, because when we get into August, September, and October, there's going to be a pretty severe crunch to try to get everything done.
And I mean, if we're, I don't think you can go beyond the end of the year and still be able to get a tax credit.
No,
so
it stops. Yeah.
It's important to think through that and don't delay, because it could potentially put you out of the opportunity.
I always, even without the solar tax credit, it definitely makes sense economically. But the bonus right now, I mean, if you could get a $9,000 credit from the federal government, that would be a huge thing. And it's not a deduction; it's an absolute credit against future monies owned, and it's a big deal. But if you miss it, we'll still be here next year. But if you really want to jump on board and save some money, now's a great time to do it.
Yeah, to be honest, the solar electric is definitely, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it saves from day one, but the battery is really the thing that if you can get it before the end of the year, it's a blessing, because you not only have your ultimate peace of mind, but you've got that for years to come. You at least have that safety and security of your home when there's a storm, and you can use it every single day.
Yeah, for sure. And this thing is pretty smart too. It actually tracks. It's hooked to the internet, and it tracks the weather. So if it sees a storm coming, it puts all the energy into the battery, so you're good to go. And then it switches in a fraction of a second. And you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't mess up your clocks in the home, right? Because every time the power goes off, you got to reset the clock.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, you could even buy a battery just for that. But anyway, we're almost out of time. Gloria, thank you again for coming on and helping us today. And folks, we're gonna sign off for now. Please tune in to CW and watch Daniel hopefully go to a podium finish in Indy this weekend. Okay, folks, have a good weekend.
Have a good one.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.